What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I am Jasmine, or Life with Jazz, here on YouTube and on social media, and I have been a travel nurse for about, next month will actually be 3 years. August will literally make me being a travel nurse for 3 years. So I feel like I kind of have a little expertise in the field. I just completed my 9th full travel assignment, but I have been on multiple travel assignments, more than 9. I think maybe like 13, maybe 12 or 13 altogether, but I've completed 9. So I've been through the process multiple times, so I feel like I can give you guys the insides and outs. I do have everything written down too, so if you see me looking at my phone, that's what I'm doing. But yes, I've been a travel nurse for about 3 years. I work NICU. I do pediatrics as well, but I travel in neonatal ICU. So if you are a NICU nurse or looking to become a NICU nurse or get into the travel world, I got you covered. In today's video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be telling you guys the pros and cons of travel nursing. I know there's a lot of people who are in nursing school who want to become a nurse, who's looking into travel nursing, or nurses that have been working as nurses that want to get into travel nursing. And you have a bunch of questions as far as, is it worth it? Or how is it, and things like that. If you guys want to hear about the pros and cons of travel nursing, definitely like this video, comment down below, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of every single time that I upload, and let's get right into the video. So the pros of travel nursing, number one is, of course, the higher pay and the bonuses. And the hype of the C word, everybody knew how much travel nurses were making, and I feel like people just like have that number stuck in their head forever, and unfortunately that's not the case. People were finding upon how much nurses were making during this time, and still to this day I literally had somebody argue in my comments about American healthcare and the reason why healthcare is so expensive, how much travel nurses make. And I just don't understand that, because we are literally at the forefront of patients' lives. Like, the doctor is not at your loved one's bedside at all. We are. So the fact that everybody feels like nurses do not deserve adequate compensation. So of course the higher pay. So normally when you're a travel nurse, you get paid on a weekly basis, and your pay is a little bit higher because you are having to duplicate expenses. Now, you are not just making all this extra money for funs and giggles. Like, yeah, you're making a lot more money than a staff nurse in some cases. You have to duplicate your expenses, so that's why the pay is a little bit higher, because people don't understand, like, these travel nurses are leaving their homes, but we still have to pay all of our bills back home. Like, I still pay my rent. I've been living here for 4 years, and I still travel, and I still have to pay my rent back home, even though I'm not here for half of the year. You know, like, I still have to pay my car note, even though my car sits at an airport for all of the time. You know, so like, we still have bills back home that are revolving, that we have to pay. And you have to pay where you are living. You get a stipend within those weekly checks that's included in your pay, and that's tax-free. Your stipends are tax-free, and that's how you make your money. So that's how you make your extra money, is by keeping your expenses lower at your assignment, so you can pocket a lot of the money, a lot of the tax-free money. The second pro of travel nursing would have to be, in my personal favor, is the freedom and flexibility. I absolutely love being able to take off when I want to. I was off for 4 months at the beginning of this year. Was that by choice? Absolutely not. But but it still felt good to be off for that amount of time and do whatever I wanted to do. The freedom and the flexibility is great. You don't have to take PTO. You don't have to use your vacation time. You don't have to fight with a job to go to Europe for a few weeks. Like, you don't have to do that. So that's why I love traveling, because I love to travel and love to vacation. Like, that's just my hobby. And being staff, you're not able to do that as freely as if you were a travel nurse. Like, yes, I know plenty of staff nurses that travel all the time. Do not get me wrong. You work your 3 at the beginning of the week and your 3 at the end. I know nothing about that life anymore, to be honest, but I want to take the whole summer off. I can do that. If I want to just work 6 months out the year and be off the other 6 months out the year, I can do that. You can do that with travel nursing. I can't do that, right? But you can do that with travel nursing. You know, long as you plan and prioritize and you save and you plan correctly, you can absolutely do it, you know. So the freedom and flexibility is the number one thing for me. So the third thing, as far as pros for travel nursing, is the travel opportunities. And y'all, when I first started traveling, this was like a way for me to see, like, of course, travel to different cities and do different things and learn different, cultures of the way people live in different parts of the United States. And so I was so happy to explore that. But also it gives you a chance to see, like, if you're thinking about moving out of your hometown or out of, the city that you've been in forever, want to explore a new state, new city, you can do that with travel nursing. Like, if I'm like, oh, like, I always want to live in Hawaii, I can find a travel assignment in Oahu. I could go stay there for 3 months, possibly 6, like, those are the type of opportunities I'm talking about. Like, you get to travel, like, travel destinations and live there for 3 months before you make a decision if you want to move there. The fourth pro I have for travel nursing is the professional growth that you get when going to these different facilities. A lot of times I work NICU, so NICU is very different. So I work with premature and sick babies in the neonatal ICU, and sometimes us NICU nurses, we can be very protective over our babies, and that's just an overall thing. If I have any NICU nurses watching this video, comment down below, you know what I'm talking about. When new people come in, we are not really that trusting when it comes to new people, right? Because some people don't know what they're doing. Especially as a traveler, a lot of people think you don't know what you're doing anyway until you prove yourself to be competent enough to take care of, like, sicker babies or sicker patients. Say there are some travel nurses who do not need to be travel nurses, I will say that, but for the most part, it's a different, you develop a different skill set when you are a travel nurse, because you're able to adapt really quickly. You're able to go into a new facility, learn the lay of the land, learn the way that they do things, learn their policies within, just like that. Like, a lot of people, it would take them, 3 months, or however long orientation is normally. It would take them three months to learn the lay of the land, right? But as a travel nurse, you come in and you're like, okay, just show me where the supply room is, show me where the med room is, make sure you know the charting system, and let's go. How do I contact the doctors, RTs, things like that? What's my chain of command? And that's it. That's literally all I need to know. And then, okay, like, I really hate long drawn out orientations because I know how to be a nurse. I just don't know you guys' way of doing things. So teach me your way of doing things here at this facility. And that's that. Like, when you are doing that constantly, you're constantly developing a skill of adaptability. Is that a word? Adaptability? I don't know, but you're developing those skills of being flexible, of being able to adapt in stressful situations, because you're being thrown into this place with little to no orientation. You don't know where anything is. You don't know the doctor's names. You don't know these patients whatsoever. You don't know nothing. But you go in and you do what you have to do. The fifth pro I would have for travel nursing is the networking and the connections that you build. I have built so many friendships and connections through travel nursing, y'all. It is wild, okay? And I feel like my horizons have been expanded. Like, seriously, I have been in rooms with people who I never thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have made friends with older people, with people my age, and I'm able to learn you know, their different cultures and learn the things that, you know, they do and how did they get where they are and things like that. So you're just able to network and grow as a person and build connections within the healthcare system as well. Across the country, really, because you never know who's connected to who. I don't care if they're in a different state. Like, you never know who's connected. By you going on these travel assignments and you putting your best foot forward, you know, you getting in good with the manager, you getting in good with the clinical team. Like, they'll ask you, like, oh, do you want to stay on full time? Do you want to stay on part time? We got a per diem role open. Like, are you interested? And now you have an opportunity to expand. Like, my per diem that I got was from one of my friends being on an assignment at this one particular hospital, and she was able to put in a good word for me. She got on per diem and she was able to put in a good word for me, and that's how I got on per diem. So it's all about networking and just putting your best foot forward, because I know a lot of times I've worked with some travelers who just really don't care. Like, they're there for a check and that's it. And honestly, I mean, yeah, like, you're there to make your money and go home, but you're also there to take care of patients. You're there. I used to tell people, you're not there to make friends. And to be honest, you're not there to make friends. But the opportunity presents itself, you're going to make friends. You're going to form connections, and you're going to go places and go out with your coworkers. Like, that's just the name of the game. Like, I'm texting, not right now, but I was just texting one of my friends that I made when I was working in Sacramento. And I haven't worked in Sacramento in almost a year. So like, you just build these strong connections with people. And I really think travel nursing is a great way to network and get your foot in the door within big healthcare systems, and even with like things you want to do. Like, those are all the pros I have for travel nursing. Now let's get into the nitty gritty, which are the cons of travel nursing. And my battery is on a half of its life. So the number one con for me for travel nursing is job security. It's job security and stability. And you know, when they say, oh, you're a nurse, you'll always be able to find a job, that is a bold-faced lie. It is a bold-faced lie. And whoever told that lie, they could politely go kick rocks with open-toe shoes. I promise, I have so many people that I'm friends with in my field of work who have applied for tons of jobs. They always get pushback, always get pushback. I personally myself, within the 4 years of me being a nurse, have applied to so many jobs. I've always gotten pushback, especially within travel nursing. Like I said, I work in a specialized specialty. I work in neonatal ICU. There's not a neonatal ICU in every single hospital there is, but there's always med-surg. There's always labor and delivery, right? So there's always surgery. Like, you have those things, you can always find a job, right? Adult nurses can always find jobs, but as far as like pediatrics, neonatology, it's hard. So you have to go where the money is. You have to go where the jobs are. Where I'm from, there's only like 2 or 3 NICUs. They never hire. Never hire. I've worked at one of them. The other 2, they never hire. Never. So if I wanted to go back staff in NICU, I would literally have to move in order to get a better job opportunity, in order to get a better job opportunity than what I had here where I'm from. So that's something to consider when travel nursing as well. And within your specialty, if you're a NICU specialty like me, job security is a big deal, and job stability is a big deal. Like I said, I was off for 4 months at the beginning of the year. It's not because I didn't want to. I mean, it's not because I wanted to be off for 4 months. It's because I literally had a contract canceled literally the night before my assignment was supposed to start. And I didn't know it was canceled until I called and I asked them for my schedule, because I needed to get my per diem days. And that's when they told me that, oh, you need to contact your recruiter. Your assignment's been canceled. And I was like, okay. And like, luckily the assignment was where my per diem was, so I was able to work there. But yeah, I was just like, okay. Like, no. Con of travel nursing is just the frequent relocation, which can be a pain. And that's the part that's kind of like getting to me now, you know, doing it for so long, is because I'm always having to keep a backpack, pack my bag, go somewhere else, go here, go there, catch a flight here, catch a flight there, uproot my life, my routine, and do it all over again in 3 months or 4 months, however long. But that part is really hard, just always relocating all the time. I'm sure like military people, like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you're always having to uproot your life every so often, and people can't keep up with you. I mean, I like people not being able to keep up with me, but at the same time, like, I would like to just stay put for a minute and make decent money, you know? So the third con of travel nursing, and if all my travel nurses out there need y'all to attest to this, housing. Housing is the worst part. I feel like it plays a big part in the cons area, right? I should have, like, this should be ranked as #1, to be honest, because these, like I said, people haven't caught up. Like, people still thinking travel nurses are making $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a week, when in reality we're not. Okay, the rates have significantly dropped. Like, I saw a California posting for $1,800 a week. Like, be for real. $1,800 a week. Like, you may think, to somebody who's not making that money, they're like, oh, that's a lot of money. But you're not understanding, you have to pay your bills back home, your expenses back home, let's say $5,000. And then you have to pay for a place to rent in California. You have to pay for your food, your groceries, your gas, or Uber, or rental car, depending on where you stay in California. You still have to pay it back home. And so you can see, as $1,800 a week is not going to cover that. You're not able to save anything. You're not able to make anything. You're literally just paying to live in another state, you know, which is crazy. Like, yeah, like, they would try to jack the prices super, super high and have all these travel nurses paying $3,000, $4,000 to rent a place. And it's like, you can't afford that. I don't even pay $3,000 back home. Why would I pay that in another state? Like, that's wild to me. Like, I'm overpaying my doubling expenses. Like, forget doubling expenses. Like, we're paying for these people's expenses at this point. Like, so that can be a hassle. And then on top of, like, the money situation, the money aspect of it, you have the aspect of you know, depending on your budget, or like where you stay, you know, housing may be limited, or what's all offered, or you staying in people's basements, or you're renting a room out of strangers' homes, which I have done numerous of times. Do I think it's the safest thing? Absolutely not. But it's like, when you travel, when you do it so much, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna find a room to rent, you know? It's weird. It's very weird. But that's their norm. I work a lot in California, so I reference California a lot. But that's their norm. Another con, I forgot what number this is, but another con of travel nursing would have to be just the loneliness and the isolation that you experience while travel nursing, especially if you do it by yourself. I solo travel a lot, as you guys probably all know if you watch my videos, and at times it's very fun. Don't get me wrong, it's very fun. We love to travel. We love to see new things and experience things. But when you do it for a long period of time, it becomes, it just becomes like, it becomes draining. And like, I feel like if I had someone to do it with, it would make the experience a little bit better when it comes to, like, oh, having to leave home again. Like, here we go again, you know, because you're by yourself. But if, like, oh, like, I'm going with my friend, like, we're gonna have so much fun, we're gonna do this and do that, then it makes it a little bit more exciting. It can get lonely. It can. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's all like sunshine and rainbows, peaches and cream. It's the best thing ever, because sometimes it's not, you know. And even like on my vacations, I love taking my solo trips, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I want to share that experience with somebody else, like my man or something, I don't know, or like one of my closest friends, you know. Like I want to share, sometimes you just want to share experiences with other people, right? But for the most part, I do like traveling by myself, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to travel nursing, because I'm doing it all the time, like I'm up, I'm leaving my house, I'm leaving my bed, I'm leaving the comfort of my own home, I'm leaving my car to go experience life completely different by myself, which is very hard. The last con I would have to say is just adapting to new work environments, and just adapting to new people. And I know it's kind of like contrary to it like the pros are, but like you have your pros and cons to everything, right? So of course, you know, pro would be meeting new people and networking and gaining new connections. But then on the other side of that, you have your cons of, you know, just experiencing different work environments that aren't the best. And no hospital is the same, no staff is the same. And I can attest to that. I've worked at some really crappy places that I can give you guys some story times on. Do you hear me? But I can also tell you guys about a couple hospitals that I absolutely adored, and I love the people and they loved me right back. The place I just came from, like I love them all so much. Like I love those people, and I am just so grateful to have met them, and they treated me like family. And as a traveler, a lot of the times you are treated as an outcast. You are treated differently. You're not included in the group order. You know, you're not included in the after work parties or the after work brunch, or you know, you're not included in a lot of that stuff for the most part. And then sometimes you have nurses who are, I hate to throw this word out there, but jealous because you are making more than them. And in some areas, like in some areas in California, the nurses I work with, I was making less than them. Like they were making more than me. And I'm just like, eh. But I feel like in those cases, they weren't jealous of me. Like the places I worked in California, I never had, I mean, I did have, you know, a couple bad people that just was like, eh, you know, like, but for the most part, I feel like those nurses didn't look at me and be like, oh, she thinks she's something because she's making all that money. I've never had that because they were making good money as well. But say, for instance, me being somewhere else in the country, and I would get, you know, that vibe from certain people like, she's making all that money, blah, blah, blah. Like I had a nurse to tell me that. I literally had a manager and two nurses literally have a full-blown conversation to my face about how nurses don't need to work holidays. They need to take off holidays because they make so much money they can afford to. And I was just like, okay. But like, yeah, you can have toxic work environments too. So that would have to be a con, just experiencing new work environments and not knowing what to expect going into those environments. But that is all for this video. I really thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And hit the notification bell to be notified of every single time that I upload. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in my next video.